Why is Bruce Banner in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Professor Hulk's real role explained. Star warning. Spoiler warning. I just watched Spider-Man Brand New Day, and while everyone is talking about Jean Grey, Punisher, Scorpion, and the movie's shocking ending, I think one character deserves a lot more attention. Professor Bruce Banner. At first glance, it feels like Bruce is just another MCU cameo. But after watching the entire movie, you realize he isn't. Bruce Banner is actually the person who helps Peter understand what's happening to his body. And without him, Peter might never have discovered the truth behind his terrifying mutation. Even more interesting, Bruce's own story mirrors Peter's. Both are brilliant scientists. Both were transformed by radiation. Both are constantly fighting the monster inside themselves. And that's exactly why Marvel chose Bruce Banner for this movie. Let's break down his role. Peter Parker has nobody left. At the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter loses everything. MJ doesn't remember him. Ned doesn't remember him. Happy Hogan doesn't know who he is. The Avengers are no longer part of his life. For the first time, Peter is completely alone. Something begins to change. Not in his personal life, inside his own body. Something is wrong with Peter. Very early in the movie, Peter realizes his spider powers aren't behaving normally. His spider sense becomes much stronger. His emotions become harder to control. His reflexes sometimes activate on their own. He experiences moments where his instincts completely take over. And then, the biggest surprise. Instead of relying entirely on mechanical web shooters, Peter's body begins producing organic webbing. This completely shocks him, because this has never happened before. At first, he thinks maybe it's simply another evolution of his spider powers. But the changes continue becoming more aggressive. Peter slowly realizes this isn't an upgrade. It's a mutation. Why Peter goes to Bruce Banner? Peter understands something very important. This isn't a problem that can be fixed by building another gadget. This isn't about engineering. It's biology, radiation, human mutation. And in the entire Marvel universe, there's only one scientist who understands radiation better than almost anyone: Bruce Banner. Professor Bruce Banner. One of my favorite surprises in the movie is seeing Bruce in a completely different role. He's no longer leading the Avengers. He's no longer traveling across the galaxy. He's now Professor Bruce Banner. Bruce teaches at Empire State University, sharing his knowledge with students while continuing years of research into gamma radiation, altered DNA, and mutation. Think about it. Bruce spent most of his life trying to understand one question. How do you control a body that no longer behaves like a normal human body? That's exactly the question Peter now faces. Marvel couldn't have picked a better mentor. Peter doesn't reveal he's Spider-Man, one detail I absolutely loved. Peter never tells Bruce he's Spider-Man. Remember, Doctor Strange's spell erased Peter Parker from everyone's memory. Bruce doesn't know him. To Bruce, Peter is simply another student asking an unusual scientific question. Peter approaches him carefully, not as Spider-Man, but as a worried young scientist. He asks something like, "Professor, if someone's DNA kept changing, if they were mutating, could that person ever regain control?" Bruce immediately understands the seriousness, because that question sounds very familiar. Bruce has spent years asking himself exactly the same thing. Bruce understands better than anyone. Bruce explains that mutations aren't simple. Sometimes the body adapts. Sometimes the mutation keeps evolving. Trying to force the body into balance is incredibly dangerous. Bruce isn't speaking from theory. He's speaking from experience. Every scar, every transformation, every battle with Hulk has taught him that controlling a mutation comes with consequences. Peter listens carefully. For the first time, he realizes he isn't fighting a villain. He's fighting his own biology. Peter tries science. Inspired by Bruce's research, Peter begins looking for ways to stabilize himself. Instead of searching for bigger weapons, he searches for answers. This perfectly shows how similar Peter and Bruce really are. When faced with danger, neither immediately throws a punch. Both become scientists first. Both search for solutions before conflict. It's one of the reasons Bruce becomes such an effective mentor. He's not replacing Tony Stark. He's teaching Peter something Tony never could. Sometimes you can't invent your way out of every problem. Sometimes you have to understand yourself first. Bruce begins to suspect something. As Peter keeps visiting Bruce, something starts bothering him. This student knows far too much about radiation, too much about mutation, too much about losing control. Bruce notices the way Peter asks questions, the way he reacts to scientific explanations, the way he seems personally connected to every answer. Even though Bruce has no memory of Peter Parker, his instincts tell him this young man is hiding something enormous. Hulk returns. Unfortunately, Bruce never gets enough time to learn the truth. One of the movie's biggest twists changes everything. Bruce loses control once again. The Hulk returns. This isn't simply another random Hulk transformation. It's emotional, violent, and completely unexpected. Suddenly, Spider-Man isn't trying to solve a scientific mystery anymore. He's trying to save the very person who was helping him. Spider-Man doesn't want to fight Hulk. This becomes one of my favorite parts of the movie. Peter never sees Hulk as the enemy. He sees Bruce trapped inside. That's a huge difference. While Punisher attacks Hulk with heavy weapons, Spider-Man keeps trying to protect civilians. He keeps trying to calm Bruce down. He keeps looking for another solution. That's classic Spider-Man. He always believes there's another way, even against someone as powerful as Hulk. Bruce is Peter's mirror. The more I thought about it, the more I realized why Bruce had to be in this movie. He's Peter's future, if Peter ever gives up. Bruce spent years believing Hulk ruined his life. Peter now fears Spider-Man may be doing the same thing. Both are scientists. Both were transformed by radiation. Both constantly blame themselves whenever innocent people get hurt. The only difference, Bruce has already lived through decades of pain. Peter is only beginning. Bruce becomes living proof that surviving a mutation isn't just about controlling your powers. It's about accepting yourself. More than just a mentor. Bruce doesn't build Peter a new Spider-Man suit. He doesn't give him advanced technology. He doesn't save the day. Instead, he gives Peter knowledge, hope, perspective, and confidence. Sometimes that's far more valuable than another superhero joining the fight. Why Marvel chose Bruce Banner? Marvel could have introduced Reed Richards, Beast, Hank Pym, or even Shuri. All of them are brilliant scientists, but none of them truly understand living with a mutation. Bruce does. Every lesson Bruce teaches Peter comes from real experience, not textbooks, not laboratories, his own life. That's what makes every conversation between them feel genuine. What Bruce's role means for the future. Bruce's appearance also opens the door for much bigger stories. The movie explores radiation, mutation, and genetic evolution more than previous Spider-Man films. With mutants now beginning to appear in the MCU, Bruce could become one of the key scientists helping explain these extraordinary changes. His research may not end with Peter Parker. It could eventually connect to the arrival of the X-Men themselves. Marvel rarely places Bruce Banner in a story without a larger purpose, and this movie feels like the beginning of something much bigger. Final thoughts. After watching Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's obvious Bruce Banner isn't here for fan service. He's the scientific heart of the movie. He's the mentor Peter desperately needed after losing Tony Stark. He helps Peter understand his mutation. He reminds Peter that every power comes with responsibility. And he proves that the greatest battle isn't always against a supervillain. Sometimes it's against yourself. Professor Bruce Banner may not have the most screen time, but he has one of the biggest impacts on Peter Parker's journey. And honestly, I think this is one of the best uses of Bruce Banner we've seen in the MCU in years. So, what did you think? Did you enjoy seeing Professor Bruce Banner mentor Peter Parker? Do you think Peter's mutation is setting up an even bigger Spider-Man story? And could Bruce Banner become the bridge between Spider-Man and the X-Men in the MCU? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more Spider-Man, Marvel, and MCU explained videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.